Welcome all of you joining us on Facebook Live alongside Pirates head men's basketball coach Janson Hightower. I'm Kit McConico. Pirates now early in the SCAC season. 2 games over the weekend, dropped both games. Pirates now 2-2 in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. Coach, let's talk about these 2 games. First, your game against Shriner on Friday night. Back and forth, but ultimately the Mountaineers coming up victorious.
I think that was a really well-played game. Not too many losing plays made by either side. Just good offenses were ran on both ends. They do a good job of changing up from a 1-3-1 to 2-3 to man. Didn't give us a huge problem, but they were able to change the pace. And they have a bench player score 20. I think they made 7 threes off their bench. So their role players stepped up and played well. I thought we did a good job on Kelly and Gums. But the problem was the other guys that are also college players, they stepped up for them. And it was close all the way through. It was a well-played game by both sides. It was good basketball when you sit back and watch the film, a couple days later.
Yeah, very entertaining game, well played, as you mentioned, from both sides. Last week when we spoke with you, you mentioned shutting down their 2 stars, Kelly and Gums. You were able to do that very effectively. But as you said, the bench for Shriner really stepping up in that Mountaineers win. And then, you were back to action less than 24 hours later, a very quick turnaround. You took on your rival Trinity here, an absolutely incredible game. Went to double overtime, but ultimately your Pirates coming up just a bit short.
Yeah, it was a battle. It was a long game. I felt sorry for the women's teams having to wait that long, especially since we didn't win. There was a lot of things to learn from in that game. And we, of course, the mistakes stand out in certain spots, especially offensively with turnovers or giving up an easy basket late. But those aren't what ultimately win or lose a game. It's every play matters. And so you have to, with a young team, with a lot of sophomores, almost exclusively sophomore players out there, you have to take some of those lumps. And I remember watching Chris Molina and Ben Stiver and Zach Whitlock and Chris Lee do some of those same things early in their career, and they got better at it. So you have to it's tough when you make mistakes late because they're amplified, but we played well enough to win the game. And Luke Hicks made 2 huge free throws to send it to double overtime, and he had some lazy turnovers, but he also stepped up and made 2 huge free throws there. And we, war of attrition, they ended up wearing us down defensively, where we got tired and didn't lock in as much as we should. But it was a well played game, and there's a reason those 2 teams are 3-1, and we're right there, and not where we want to be record wise, but we're right where we need to be going forward with the team.
Right in the thick of things early in the SCAC conference play. You mentioned that quick turnaround, less than 24 hours in fact. How difficult is that, not just physically, but mentally as well for your players?
So I think we really we don't overload them with preparation, but I think the hardest part, whether you win or lose, is the second game matters just as much as the one you just played. And so naturally you maybe get to focus on the first team a little more in practice. You pepper in some things from the second team when it's a Friday, Saturday, but you're probably more focused on the Friday game. So then you're quickly have to go scout, film, personnel, concepts with what Trinity does. And so that's a really hard part, I think, for teams, both them and us, that if you're going to play a back-to-back, that's hard. Winning, I remember Coach Grothy mentioning it, when you lose the first one, it's nice to be able to come right out and try to get the taste out of your mouth. When you win, it's hard because you don't get to celebrate it for very long at all. So it's part of it, but that's tournament. That's setting you up for the tournament, right? You're going to have next day. And so I think that helps prepare you for that.
A lot of positives in these 2 games. Brandon Alexander was incredible, 32 points in that loss to Trinity. It was a back-and-forth battle, as you mentioned. You guys led by as many as 12 points, I believe. You had a double-digit lead early in the second half, but the war of attrition, their deep bench just continued to come back, did the Tigers. What can your young guys learn from a game like this?
I think part of it was their zone gave us some issues, slowed us down some. And I think defensively the biggest thing that you have to, no matter what the lead is, try not to look at the scoreboard and don't play like you have a cushion. Play like we want to keep it at 10 or 12 or, we always talk about when we're down, especially we need to talk about when we're up, 1 point per minute. So 1 stop at a time and, get a basket or get fouled. So 1 point per minute. If you're down 5 with 5 minutes to go, you can make that up. You're down 10 with 10 minutes to go, you can make that up. So that needs to be the attitude when we have a lead, and not exhale and relax. So we'll get better, and they already have. I mean, the mentality and the culture, especially with Brandon coming into a new team, has bought into what we're doing, and not worried about offensively, not worried about how they're playing hard, they're playing together, they're moving the basketball, and they're trying to do what we ask, and their mistakes are going to happen. So we're overall happy with them.
You have one of the youngest teams, not just in the conference, in the nation. Obviously, you've been without your senior Ryan Ogden the past few games. He had that injured foot. Seen him in the walking boot. How impressed have you been with your young players coming together, young guys, freshmen and sophomores, stepping up and playing big minutes?
So I think they're more than capable, which is huge because they have the talent and they have the IQ, and so that's a huge part of it. Is just what they are blessed with and the work they've put in. Worked extremely hard in the off season, and then you kind of build them up to make them believe that they can get it done. I think it's what coaching is supposed to be. You tell them, you hold them to a high standard, and they think we're being hard on them, maybe even unrealistic, but we know that they can perform and they can beat these teams no matter how many seniors or juniors another team has, because it's basketball. You go out and play. And so I've been very impressed with what they've been able to do. Don't want to use it as a crutch or an excuse that we're young, because we're playing in the games. We want to win them right now. We don't want to think about next year or in 2 years. We want to get it done now. We want to get Ryan Ogden a chance to have a ring, even as a guy who's sitting now as a senior, because he's done so much for us. And so very impressed, and just got to keep growing each game out. Still got 10 games left in conference.
10 games remaining in conference, 2 big games this weekend, both on the road. Friday, you'll head up to the Rocky Mountains, where, strangely enough, it is warmer in Colorado Springs than it is here in Georgetown,
about 30
Texas.
degrees.
Figure that one out for me. And then Sunday, you'll be in Dallas taking on the University of Dallas, the Crusaders there in Irving. First, this match against CC. Tigers always good, especially at home.
Yeah, it's tough to go out there. They have that aspect of being a flight trip for everybody and the altitude. They play slow. They play about 6 guys, play 5 guys a ton of minutes. They play a zone. They try to slow it down, so we're going to try to speed them up, pressure the ball. They have Hauska and Hatch, who are probably maybe the best combo, can be the best combo in the league. And so try to slow them, guard their motion stuff, and really try to attack the zone and man and move the ball and just try to play harder than them. And try to, we have probably 13 or 14 guys that we feel comfortable getting in the game. And so when they don't get that second wind, or it's the altitude bothering them, somebody else can go in and play hard. So it's going to be a good match. We've lost in overtime the last 2 times up there. So we're trying to get over the hump.
Trying to get over the hump indeed. And then a travel day on Saturday before heading to the Metroplex to take on the Crusaders. What have you seen from the University of Dallas?
Coach Samples does a really good job. Former Southwestern assistant. He's a really good coach, and he has some good freshmen. Spencer Levi I think he's probably averaging a double-double in conference play. They run a very simple but effective offense, and they play hard, and they know their roles, and they try to stick to their strengths, and that's good coaching on his part. Not super deep, but the guys are playing, understand what they're trying to do, and it's always a battle with them because he's going to get them to play hard. And so, I think they're 3-2 in the league, and rightfully so. They're playing good basketball, and but it'll be nice to have that day gap to then get more preparation in for Dallas.
Pirates 2-2 in the SCAC. Head to the road this weekend. Friday at Colorado College. Sunday at the University of Dallas. Coach, best of luck this weekend. As always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.